Welcome back to our lesson on job benefits and costs. Today we're going to be looking at what are the hidden costs of working. So what do you find inconvenient about working? If you have a job, what are some things that you like or don't like about your job? Or if you feel like you haven't had a job but you're going to get a job, what are some things that you would believe would be inconvenient or would be difficult about your job? Think like scheduling issues. If you are a parent, you probably need to worry about your schedule when you're going to be scheduled. Do you want to work at the same time that your kids are in school, or do you need to work night hours so that you can be home with a child during the day? Take a moment and think for yourselves, what do you think would be inconvenient about specific types of jobs? When we think about inconveniences, these are different types of hidden costs in working. Usually we think about work as receiving a paycheck, but we also have to pay a little bit in order to have. So here are some hidden costs of working. It might cost you some money to get to and from work, whether that's gas, putting gas in your car, or you might have to pay for parking at a parking garage, or if you want to park in a parking lot, sometimes you have to pay money to do that. You may have to pay for specific clothing for your job or a uniform. As a teacher, I have to wear professional clothes, and I didn't have those when I first started. I had to purchase them. If you have a uniform, some places require you to buy that uniform. They'll require you to buy the khaki pants or the black pants and maybe a polo shirt. If you need a hat because you're working in food service, they might require you to pay for that as well. Professional dues or union dues. So oftentimes workers will work in a union. You have to pay money to be in your union, and those people, their job is to help project your job, and so they need a little bit of money to help them with that. So if you want to work in specific jobs, you might have to pay money to a union. For me as a teacher, I have a teaching certificate that I have to renew every 3 years, and I have to pay money to renew my certificate. That would be a professional due. You might even have to pay for tools and equipment for your job. If you are a carpenter, not all carpentry shops will provide you with your tools like a hammer and a saw and a tool belt and all the knickknacks that you need to complete your job. You might have to go out and purchase that, and that can be quite expensive, tools for carpentry or for building. Teachers buy their own tools as well to furnish their classrooms. The school doesn't always give us the money. If you need a computer for your job, something that you want to take back and forth home or to your job, you might even have to purchase your own laptop. Not all the time does a company provide you with your cell phone or with your laptop or any other technology that you might need. If you have kids and you work during the day, you're going to have to purchase or buy or get some childcare for them. Now, sometimes that could be, they could go to their grandparents' house for the day, but oftentimes you might go and you might send your child to a childcare center, a daycare center, and you do have to pay money so that you can go earn money. So you have to pay money to the childcare center so that you can earn money for your living expenses. And down at the bottom, it does say license or education required for my job. So I told you that, my professional due, I have to pay a certain amount of money to keep that updated. You could also need some extra education for a job. If you want to be an ultrasound technician at a hospital, you can't just go in and become an ultrasound technician. You have to have a certificate, and you have to go take classes in order to receive your certificate. So these are some hidden costs of working. Oftentimes when you work, you're earning enough to cover these costs, but they are just kind of extra things that you might have to budget for or that you need to realize that are involved when you have a job. Different types of jobs are going to require different costs. So we're going to do an activity. We're going to look at a few different scenarios, and we're going to look at the hidden costs that prospective employees might encounter for these respective jobs. So open up your notebook and find this task. It's the hidden cost of employment scenarios. I'm going to go through the first one with you, and we are going to brainstorm as many costs as we can think of for Keisha. So it says Keisha has been able to get a job in the music section of a local bookstore. She's able to catch a public bus to get to work after school and then carpools with a friend who takes her home. Since she works right after school, it's hard for her to pack a lunch and a dinner, so she usually buys dinner at a fast food place near the bookstore during her work break. She has control over what she wears for work as long as she wears a collared shirt and doesn't wear jeans or shorts. Keisha gets a 20% discount on all books and music in the store, so she is constantly adding new items to her extensive collection. She loves her job, especially since she learns all about the new music releases before her friends. So this seems like a very good job for Keisha. She loves music, she loves working in the bookstore, but it seems like she has some extra hidden costs that maybe she wasn't prepared for when she first got this job. So she's been able to get a job in the music section of a local bookstore. She's able to catch a public bus to get to work. Well, here's the first hidden cost that I see. A public bus. It could cost anywhere from 50 cents to $3 to take public transportation from school to her work. So that's our first hidden cost, is public bus transportation. Another hidden cost is that she carpools with a friend to get home. So she takes the bus from school to work, and then she carpools with a friend to get from work back home. Maybe her friend requires her to pay a little bit of gas money so that they can go home. It takes her maybe a little bit of extra time as well that she might not have been expecting because it might be out of the way for her friend. So not only does Keisha have hidden costs here, but her friend might as well. It takes her extra time to get home because she's got to take Keisha home. Since she works right after school, it's hard for her to pack a lunch and a dinner. So she usually buys dinner at a fast food place near the bookstore. Buying dinner on the job, her job doesn't sound like they provide food for her, so she has to spend her own money to get dinner. She does have control over what she wears, so you might be thinking that's not really a hidden cost, but there is something special. She has to wear a collared shirt. So she's got to now go out and purchase a whole bunch of collared shirts. Maybe she only has one or two depending on how many days she works a week, but a collared shirt would be like a button-down shirt or a polo shirt. So now she's got to go out and buy those. And she's not allowed to wear jeans or shorts. So if you don't wear jeans, you could wear khakis, but you're going to have to purchase those. I really don't think leggings or sweatpants is appropriate either, but who knows, maybe that job is okay with it. She could wear skirts or khakis or blue pants, but she can't wear jeans, she can't wear shorts. So now she's got to buy specific clothing for this job. And this is probably the biggest cost. I don't necessarily think it's hidden, but it is there for Keisha. She gets a 20% discount on books and music in the store, and she buys a lot of books and music, especially music. So while she gets a 20% discount, that does mean that she's still paying 80% of the regular cost. So let's see. There are quite a few hidden costs for Keisha. Transportation, both public and carpooling, even time for her friend, time that her friend had to take out to get her maybe home. Buying dinner out at a fast food restaurant. She has to buy a specific work uniform. And she also might spend a little bit more or purchase more items because she has this 20% discount. So I count 6 hidden costs of employment for Keisha. Your task right now is to go through Jeremy's and Fatima and David's, as well as Sakura's situations. And I want you to write out as many hidden costs as you can find for them. All right, so there are 3 different scenarios. Go ahead, pause this video. You can highlight the hidden costs that you see, or you could write them on a separate sheet of paper. But go ahead, pause this, and find as many hidden costs in these scenarios as you can. Now that you've read through these scenarios, I'm just going to go over the hidden costs that I found to see if maybe you have more than me or maybe you had a few gaps in the hidden costs that you couldn't find. So Jeremy, his babysitting business, it's really starting to grow. His high school's early childhood education program gives him a lot of ideas for crafts and educational games that he can use with the kids he cares for. So if he has these ideas, he's probably having to pay for the crafts and the games. So he is going out of his way. He's spending his own money to buy the supplies for crafts, to buy the games. The parents love that he helps the children increase their academic skills rather than just watch videos when he's there. Jeremy also makes sure that his CPR and first aid certifications are up to date. So that is probably an extra cost. If you're in high school, you can usually get that for free through the school. However, CPR and first aid certifications, you do have to pay for those. He thinks the real reason for the increase in his business is the new website he set up to advertise his skills and help schedule work opportunities, a bargain for only $10 a month. So he's paying $10 to hold a website. When he is babysitting, that is another hidden cost. It means that he doesn't have free time to go study or spend times with his friends. It's kind of nice because he has a kind of a flexible schedule, but if people need him, he's got to be available. Sometimes his babysitting job does run late on school nights, but it's well worth it for the money he's making. So again, that just talks about a hidden cost of him having to work late on school nights. That might not be the best schedule for him as a high schooler, but he's doing what he needs to do. So hidden costs here, the crafts and the games that he's playing with the kids, the fact that he has CPR and first aid certifications, it's $10 a month for his website, and time is also a hidden cost that he's got to take his time out of. It's sometimes really late on busy nights. Even transportation, it wasn't really mentioned in here, but transportation, getting to and from these babysitting places, sometimes, he might have to get his parents' help if he doesn't drive, or maybe he does drive and he can drive himself. Perhaps he walks or rides a bike or takes public transportation. Depending how far away those babysitting sites are, that could become really expensive really quickly. So Fatima and David, they have started a landscaping business. Fatima was able to buy a used truck from her uncle. Hidden cost right there. She had to buy a truck for her business. David is pretty handy with small motors. He's able to make most of the repairs as long as he uses the right mix of oil and gasoline in the engines. So they have to buy oil and gasoline so that David can fix all of the engines that they have. If he needs any tools, he has a hidden cost of purchasing those tools and using them in the correct way. Any other supplies that he would need, they're going to have to pay for as well. They do save money and they buy their equipment used, but they still are putting in their own money to get the equipment. Fatima has been able to use her home computer and printer to create business cards that help spread the word about their businesses to new customers. So with that, she's got to take time out. She's not getting paid to make these business cards. So she's using some of her time. That's a hidden cost. She has a computer and printer, so that's nice. But she did have to pay for that at one point. And she had to pay for the paper and the ink that they made their business cards on. They've been able to get a few regular jobs for business clients, and they charge a slightly higher rate for business clients than for their homeowner customers. So they charge a slightly higher rate for them. That means that they might not get as many. But when winter comes, Fatima and David are still in business shoveling snow and clearing sidewalks. And to do that, they're going to also have to buy those supplies. So quite a few hidden features in there as well. All right, the hidden costs for Secura are her schedule. She works evenings and weekends, so she doesn't have those free. She uses her mom's car, but she's got to add gas. She looks great in the required uniform, but she has to pay for her own black slacks and white blouse. And she has 3 pairs of black slacks and white blouses that she paid for. She has a pair of orthopedic shoes, which are like to help her feet so they're not so painful, that they meet the dress code, but she had to pay for them. And she is saving some of her money so that she can take a health and sanitation course at a local college, and that will give her a certificate to increase her wages. So she's paying for some professional education, and that's in turn going to increase her wages. So you can see many of the hidden costs here in this activity. Your final job for today is to do activity 3.10, the costs of working. Think about the jobs that you or other people have had and write down the costs that it would take to work there. And I want to challenge you, not all costs are monetary. All right, good luck.